Hi folks. Well, I'm about to take the winter tires off and put on the summer tires. You can see the lug nuts are removed and the rim is stuck on there. And it's really stuck on there, tight. So I have my little persuader here, hammer, and a hard wood. So to get this off, I'm going to put it like so, and I'm going to take that big old hammer you see there and I'm going to whack it, and I'm going to go around the tire and whack it and whack it and whack it with a piece of hardwood. Not going to take the hammer and hit the rim itself. I'll put the piece of hardwood up against the rim and then whack the hardwood with the hammer until I see here some separation taking place. And I want to show you afterwards what should be done before the other set of rims are put on to make sure it's not going to have a wobble going down, and make sure the rim goes up against the rotor evenly. So I'll be back with you because I only have my one hand for the camera, and I basically need three hands. One to hold the piece of hardwood, one to hold the camera, and one to hold the maul here. So I'm going to get this rim off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm back and I have the rim loose and it's about to come off. So I'm going to show you. First off, you can see inside of here, this edge, there's a little bit of rust. Well, this piece here fits over the rotor portion extremely tight, almost no tolerance. So the slightest little bit of rust creates that stuckness that you seen was that hand. So I'm going to take this and remove it. I'm going to show you the next process of what I'm going to make sure of, and I would recommend you make sure of. See all the backing rust? That's actually quite thick. So I have myself a couple chisels here, just wood chisels, and I'm going to scrape this to make sure that that surface is right smooth before I put the other summer tire and rim on. If I don't do this, that little bit of buildup of rust is going to stop that aluminum rim from sitting flat. And I want that aluminum rim on this backing portion here to sit as flat as I can possibly get it. You can see how that little bit of rust here, it's actually quite thick. So just to put that rim back on top over that, there's going to be an interference there of that little bit of buildup, which your rim won't be sitting on here flat. So I'm going to make sure that this is all removed. So I can get that surface to be flat. And that aluminum rim will sit up on here flat when it's reinstalled. It's a little bit of tediousness, but it's overly not too bad. You can see why I have two chisels, because in between here, this one don't really fit very good. See? And to go this way, the other one does a much better job because it can go right in between. Make sure that surface there is just as flat as the rest of it. And then once I have all of that buildup of rust removed, I can be sure that the aluminum rim placed back on there is going to be riding like it should be, without any kind of wobble to it because of that buildup and the rim being on there basically crooked. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll get back to you. I don't think you want to see me here scraping all this away. Well, I can keep the video rolling, I guess, and continue showing you. Switching chisels again. Nothing worse than going down the road and you feel a wobble and you don't really know where it's coming from. Tires look good and it's just something so simple. That little bit of buildup right here, you see that little bit of buildup? That's going to create a space which you don't want, which that's going to give you a little wobble when you're traveling at a high speed on a highway or something. So to eliminate that, well, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I wanted to show everybody because I'm just not too sure how many people might have known that. And there's one more step I'm going to take after I have all this surface here cleaned, which I'm getting very close to it. And I'll show you. You really want to make sure you go around everything, because you don't want any little bulge on that. You want to get it as smooth as you possibly can. This way you're sure, well, at least I'll be sure, that that rim will be fitting nice and tight and even to prevent that wobble. Because after all, if you have a wobble, your tires are going to wear out quicker. And that's another whole expense that, you know, most of us don't mind holding back on, because I know for me, that's a pretty high expense. A set of new tires, they're not very cheap. And we all need them if we drive. I'm going to switch hands here to get a better angle. I'm left-handed, so I work best with my left hand. Okay, now I'm going to go in between here with that smaller chisel. And I think I just about have it. I'll wipe it with a rag here in a minute to make sure. And one more part I'm going to scrape. And I would suggest whoever does a changeover with their winter tires to their summer tires, they would inspect it and do the same thing. It's entirely up to you folks, of course. Is this rim here, edge, where that rim edge goes, where I showed you there's no tolerance, I'm going to give it a cleaning as well. And after I have all this clean, I have one more step that I'm going to do. That's going to help prevent that from developing again. It won't fully prevent it, because just over time that what I will use kind of wears off and just from the rainwater and all the rest of it. Washes it away. Water's incredible. It travels everywhere. Nice and smooth. I hope the quality of the video is seeable anyway. It could be seen without too much difficulties. I got some pretty heavy sun in the background. I'm not exactly sure if it's making some shadows or not. Looks pretty good here on my end. Oh, I hear the chickens in the background. I think one of them laid an egg. I'm trying to hatch some eggs out right now. I think I have 7 of them trying to hatch out. My incubator only holds 7 eggs. It's a small little incubator. Let me feel this. Oh, that feels nice and smooth. I'm also going to go inside of here just to get the old dust and whatnot out of there, and I'll give it a fresh beginning for some new dust and debris to collect in there. This has nothing to do with, this part I'm doing now has nothing to do with the rim fitting and coming off. It's just something I'm going to take an extra second here to do. Still looks pretty much new inside here, nice and shiny. I'm going to give it a blow. There, I'll give it a wipe with a rag, and then I'll show you the next step that I do to help it for the fall time when I'm going to put the winter tires back on. Give her a good wiping, and it sure does look nice and smooth now. No more buildup. Go around the studs. Push the rag inside of here and kind of go up and around. Okay, well, what I'm going to use is some white lithium grease. I don't use a whole lot. I'll show you. I want to be careful so I don't get any on the brakes or anything, so I just give it a little bit like this. Not lots, just enough. I'm going to go inside of here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to make sure everything's covered. Grease and oil and brakes don't match. They don't go along together too good, but this isn't going to affect the brakes because it's nowhere near them. I'll go in here and make sure it's covered. Got my finger all gooey. There, now it's ready for the new rim. Well, not the new rim, but the summertime rim to go back on, which is here. And there's one more thing I wanted to show everybody on the rim to make sure from taking it off before. There's also this edge here. You want to make sure it doesn't have any buildup on it. This one's aluminum, so there won't be very much buildup on it. The winter rims were steel, so on the back side of them rims there'll be some buildup that I will remove and put a little bit of oil to stop it from building up again. And then in the fall time they'll be ready to go back on for the winter months without that buildup. And in the fall time, I'll do exactly the same as you see me do here to hopefully, in the springtime, make them rims come off relatively the same or hopefully a little bit easier. There, it's a smooth There, now I'll put the rim back on. It's be pretty difficult to put it back on, but you get the idea. And then I'll torque the nuts up, the wheel nuts, which are these here. And summertime driving is ready. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you have not, and thank you very much for those that already have.